Good morning, students. Welcome to the session. In last video, we discussed about the universal indicator pH scale and the importance of pH scale in our daily life. Now, in this video, I'm going to explain about salts. We'll know more about the salts. When we'll get salt? When an acid combines with a base, then they produce a salt and water. In our daily life, we have so many variety of salts are there. For example, sodium chloride, ammonium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium bicarbonate we'll call it as, and ammonium chloride, potassium chloride, ammonium nitrate, sodium, what are this? Magnesium sulfate, copper sulfate. Like this, we have different types of salts. In all, these salts are formed due to the combination of acids and bases. So, some examples of salts I took and I prepared as a group based on, actually in all these salts, salts means they're neutral. They don't have any charge. So in these salts, when you find out the positive ions and the negative ions, we can call it as radicals. For example, if you take potassium sulfate, you can split mean this is the combination of a cation and an anion, then K plus and SO4 minus. So it is having a positive and a negative ions. So salts are neutral and they are the combination of cations and anions. Next, like this you split this group of salts. We have different types of groups of salts. So how we will frame the different salts into a particular group of salts? Now if you take sodium sulfate, you can split into Na plus plus and SO4 minus. Then this is also calcium sulfate, Ca plus and SO4 minus. Next, magnesium sulfate, Mg plus and SO4 minus. Copper sulfate, Cu plus and SO4 minus ion. So we'll keep like this. In this first group, when you observe, each salt with, is the combination of cations and anions. In this, here SO4 ions are common for all these salts. SO4 minus ions, or we can call it as radicals, are common for all these salts. So if either any cation or anion or otherwise any radical, if it is common for a group of salts, then the group of salts are belongs to that family. Means here for all the salts, SO4 radical is common. So all these salts are belongs to sulfate family. Means all these salts are known as sulfate salts. We'll call it as sulfate salts. Now coming to the second example. Here some group of salts are there. Again when you split means these are the combination of Na plus and Cl minus. For if you take sodium chloride. Next, ammonium chloride. In this also ammonium plus, sorry, NH4 plus Cl minus, and KCl, potassium chloride, K plus Cl minus, calcium chloride, Ca plus plus and Cl minus minus, Al plus 3 and Cl minus 3. Like this, if you take a group of another group of salts and these salts also contains the negative and the positive ions, and out of all these salts a group of radicals or the ions are common. Which are common here? Chloride, chloride, chloride. See, chlorine is common. Chloride ion is common here. So based on this ion, all these salts are belongs to chloride family. Means that all salts belongs to chloride family. All otherwise we can call it as that salts are known as chloride salts. We can call it as chloride salts. And here SO4 is common. So these are all sulfate salts and these are all the chloride salts. Now another group will take. Here in this sodium chloride, you can split it into sodium Na plus and Cl minus. And sodium sulfate, you can split as a positive that Na plus, sorry, Na plus plus and SO4 minus. And this is sodium acetate. This is the sodium acetate, Na plus, and this is some minus. So here in all these, the cation, this radical, positive radical is common. In all this third group of salts, this sodium ion is common for all the salts, or sodium radical. So due to that radical, this group of salts belongs to that family, means sodium family, or such type of salts will call it as sodium salts. We'll call it as sodium salts. So like this, based on the radical, the given salts are classified into particular family, whether they belongs to the chloride or sulfate or sodium or different carbonate family. If you take sodium carbonate, ammonium carbonate and calcium carbonate, so these are all belongs to carbonate family. So we have different types of groups of salt families are there: sulfate family, carbonate family, sodium family, chloride family, etc. Okay. Now in all these salts, you take few salts, either from each family, or you take few salts and you dissolve in the water. Take these salts and dissolve in the water. You take one test tube, or beaker, take salt and add water. This is the salt, and add water, shake it and keep it. Then you will get the salt solution. To that salt, like that, you take different families, different types of salts, and you prepare the solutions. In that solutions, you take the universal indicator. Take a universal indicator either in the form of paper or the solution. You suppose if you take the paper, dip in each beaker or in the test tube which contain the salt solution, and you observe the pH paper changes its color. The pH paper changes its color. Earlier we discussed about when an acid combines with a base, then we get salt and water. So here the salts are the combinations of acid and base. We get salt. So you prepare these solutions along with the universal indicator. You find out and identify. So in for the different salts, you get definitely you may get the salts. Some are belongs to acidic, they show the acidic salts, and some are belongs to the basic salts, and some are neutral. So based on this, the salts are classified into three categories. Again, once again, the salts are categorized into acidic salts, basic salts and neutral salts. Why we have to categorize these? Because the neutral or salt we can get by the combination of an acid or a base. So here the combination of an acid or base means sometimes you may add a strong acid to a weak base, or strong acid to a strong base, or weak acid to a strong base. Like this combinations you can add it, then you get salt. But the characteristic of is that salt depends based on the mixing of an acid and a base. Due to this, the salts we get acidic nature, basic nature of salts, and neutral salts. So that we'll discuss now. Here you see types of salts. What is that? Types of salts. How many types we have? Three types: acidic salts, basic salts, and neutral. When you will get acidic salt, here in acidic salt, if you add generally salt means the combination of an acid with the base. So you take here acid and base, but here acidic salt means you must take a strong acid. It is the combination of a strong acid with a weak base. Then the resultant salt we get having the acidic nature, and its pH is less than 7. So that acidic salt pH value is less than 7. Now coming to the basic salts. Here for the basic salt means that salt is having the basic characters more, means base ions are more. Now if you take a weak weak acid is combined with a strong base, when a weak base is added or combined with a strong base, then we get salt. Here the combination of an acid and base, so the combination of acid base means definitely we get salt, but here the combination is a strong base, so the salt contains basic nature. And for this the pH values are greater than 7. The pH values are greater than 7. Now coming to the neutral salts. In this neutral salts, it is the combination of strong acid combines with a strong base. When a strong acid combines with a strong base, we get neutral. And neutral means the pH value is equals to, or 7 is equals to 7. It is not less than 7 or it is not greater than 7. Exactly it is equals to 7. Now here you see that condition, when strong acid combines with a strong base, we get neutral salts. You may raise one question. Suppose when a weak acid combines with a weak base, when strong acid combines with a strong base, we get neutral salts. And in the opposite condition, if you take weak acid combines with a weak base, what type of salt we get? You will not get neutral salts, because your earlier condition both are strong means you got a neutral. Here both are same, weak. So in this condition, when weak acid combines with the weak base, the resultant salt, it depends on the relative strength of an acid and base. It depends on the relative strength of an acid and base. Actually, acid and base means it contains ions. Acid means H3O plus ions and base means OH minus ions. So, in the combination of an weak acid and weak base, which type of ions are more depends on that the salt contains that nature. Okay. Now, these are the types of salts. Understand? Thank you.